So how do the world's best matchmakers deal with requests for very large age gaps?
Deal?
Let's be serious.
Do you like a vegetable?
No,
Your favorite?
No. Deal with very large age gaps. This video will absolutely shock you.
What an interesting marketing strategy you use, my dear. But before that, we want to show you our game that we created. It's called Together 101 Questions to Fall in Love. Description in the description below. And also welcome to our Telegram community. Also link below, and it's a cool community where you have to be for sure. So large age gap. Sometimes we have a call, the guy who wants to become our client, who is saying that he's 60 years old, for example, and he is looking for the lady 25 years younger. And I used to be very, very skeptical about that. Now I'm not very, but I'm still a little bit skeptical. There's different reasons for that, but we were talking with Striker about that, and I just realized that, like, when I think about the guy who is 60 years old in Ukraine and the guy who is 60 years old on the West, it is like guys with a 20 years age gap. I would put it this way. Mm-hmm. So the guys who are 60 in Ukraine, of course, there's exceptions. And unfortunately, in the United States, of course, there's also guys in their 60s who look very bad. They're out of shape. They not taking care of themselves. They have bad teeth. I don't know. They have bad color of skin and etc. But the guys who are calling us, usually it's very fit, very successful guys who wants and can have younger wife. And if I talk to someone and say to the ladies, like, ladies, you know, I have a guy, he's 60 years old, and like, would anyone be interested? Like, and I talk to the ladies in their 40s, they would say, Luba, like, but I want to have sex, I want to have like relationship, I want to travel, like, I don't want to be with a grandpa. Because in Ukraine, 60 years old man is it's a dedushka. It's a guy who is like he's sitting on a bench, you know, with a stroller, with a grandson, you know, walking with a small dog who is very, very old, the same age as him. And so, unfortunately, you know, maybe I a little bit exaggerate, but plus minus, it's like this. My dad is 65. He's still active doing, but I can't imagine him like he's not lazy, he's doing a lot of stuff, but he's working and then he come home and all he wants to just lay down and just watch TV and not like traveling the world and like, you know, and running around, you know, for the younger lady. So, and this is my view, even though my dad, I would say one of the best representative of 65-year-old men that I know, like Ukrainian men. But when I communicate with the guys on the West, 60, it's almost like a beginning of life there. Because they just, like 60 to 65, they just getting retired. And finally, they don't have to go to work every day or they don't have to be stressed. They finally can just relax and enjoy their life. And if they've been smart about themselves, they still good looking, they're in good shape, they eat healthy, and etc. So...
Okay, so I want to add my 2 cents in here.
In Ukraine, it's 5.
My 5 hryvnias. So I've learned a lot, you know, over the past few years, I guess, working in Heart Rocket. And I always thought that before this, because before Heart Rocket, I had my YouTube channel and I would do random calls with just random people who wanted to just talk. And I was always
bored?
Yeah, I don't know. It was just interesting for me and people seemed to want to speak to me about my experiences and what they can do. And so what I saw was a lot of guys that were, you know, out of shape. And they were doing this letter writing, and the perception of reality was just so skewed because these websites would say, I don't care that you're 45 years older than me or whatever. And so they would absorb this and you know, they wanted to hear it, so why would you not accept it, right? And so they accept that. And so I was talking to some of these guys and I was just like, yeah, this is just absurd. And I would tell them like this letter writing is BS because I knew it was. But they would go back to it as well. So when we started Heart Rocket, it was like, you know, guys that are doing this letter writing, like, please, like, you know, and you as well, you knew who they were. Stay away. They're completely unreasonable and all that sort of stuff. But what I've learned is that there are some guys that can pull off a larger age gap, right? But it's not every guy. And it's not, you don't just focus on the guy's age and go, okay, 65-year-old guy, he can date a woman who's 40 years old, right? You can't just say that. It depends on the guy. Now, if the guy has kept himself in shape his whole life, then yes, he can stretch out the age gap because women, you know, and we've seen this like quite a few times recently, where originally the woman didn't want to be with a large age gap. But then she sees his photos, she sees that, the guy is like 58 years old and, she's still, 15, 20 years younger. And all of a sudden she's interested, right? Because the guy kept himself in shape. He does these like marathons or whatever, triathlons or whatever. He's done well in business. He's got a nice house. He's got his shit together. Of course, we can stretch it out. We used to, I don't know if we talked about it on this channel here or where we've spoken about it, maybe in Ascend, about this thing that we call the value offset, right? So a large age gap is a deficit in value, right? Because most women don't want to date a man that is 15 years or 20 years older. So there is a deficit in value that is reduced the bigger the age gap. But that value can be offset by certain other things. The man is in good shape. The man has got his shit together. The man has a good lifestyle, right? He's still young at heart. This is a big one as well. Even just the simple attitude that he is active, and even just the way he speaks, it feels like you're speaking to, say, like somebody your own age. You're not speaking to an older man, somebody who's old enough to be your father. So large age gaps can work. Now, we're not in this video, we're not saying, hey, everybody go out there and get a large age gap. What we're saying is that if you have got your shit together and that you are in shape, right? I'm trying to say this in a way that's, easy to understand without making it too complicated, then yes, you can achieve those things. But if, I'll just say this here, if you are an older gentleman and you are, out of shape and you're calling us and asking us, I prefer to be with a woman that's 25 years old, we say, yeah, well, of course, like that's no mystery. But we have to say, so you're asking for a young, fitter, younger, beautiful blonde woman, then you have to be the equivalent of this, but the other way around. Does that make sense?
I was sitting there and thinking, like, I'm pissed the guys if I say that, but I do want to say that why do I not support the age gap? So there's the only one reason for that, because
you don't say support. Let's say do not encourage.
I not encourage because I just worry for you guys when you're 60 and she's even 39, 40, and 10 years later you will be 70 and she will be still 50. So I just don't see the benefit for you guys. Now at this point of time, maybe. But in 10, 15, 20 years old, it's very difficult to say, Luba, can you tell me if she will still be with me? Of course, everything depends on you. Everything depends, will you still be active? Will you still be able to literally supply her needs and wants? Because even when she becomes 50, she will still want a lot of sex. She will still, because I know that now working with women. So I, for some reason, thought that, later, ladies, they don't need it. Ladies from 40 to 50, it's like sex machine, it seems like the only topic that they're talking about. No matter which event I will come, if there's ladies from 45 to 55, it's like they need boom boom all the time. And I'm thinking, interesting, so will you be able to supply, right? Will you be able to provide these demands that they have? And so you need, I only worry for you guys when I say that I'm not encouraging that, because what we realize that is it doable? It is very doable. But I also realized that most, it's happening, it's 50-50. So the guys who are in a great shape, very sporty, very healthy, very successful, they're reaching out to us. And they don't have that exact age gap 20. They just want to find a lady who is equal to them, who is also take care of themselves, who is in shape. We have such a ladies in our database. I wish I would be like that. When I'm in my 50s, 48, 49 years old, this magician lady. She's I don't know. She's incredible. She's fit. She's flexible.
You can't just say magician lady.
She was assistant.
She was an assistant for a magician.
So she was she's very flexible to be in all these boxes and stuff. And so very interesting ladies in a wonderful look. And so these guys are not stuck in the age, but the guys who are unfortunately not looking very well, who is not in a good position, they physical presence. They looking for this bigger age gap because they've been doing the letter writing most of the time. There's some delusion because on that website there's 20-year-old lady was saying age is just a number. Age doesn't matter. Dear, I love you for whatever you are and whoever you are. So I'm about truth and I'm about reality and about being reasonable and realistic. We all can come to the mirror today, have a look and say, okay, I love you, my dear person, I'm proud of you. Like, what can I do better for you today? So we either should improve ourselves or we should be realistic and do something that will not hurt us in the future. So that is my view on that as a matchmaker. But and also I give you the example why ladies are a little bit skeptical about that, because again, I will repeat, on the West, if the guy is taking care of himself, like, he's in so much better form than the guy in Ukraine, for example. And second is that if you willing to do that, just be reasonable and realistic, and then you will be very, very happy and very successful, because sometimes number really is just a number, and the lady even in her 50s can be incredible, who will have so much more love and so much more passion to you than the lady who will think, he now owes me because he is like so much older. I don't think that this is something that you're looking for.
Well, we when someone calls us, we never say you can't have something, right? Who are we to say if someone can have a large age gap or not? Like, we have no idea, and we have like no right to stop anyone from going after what they want. In fact, we quite often say that, if that's what you want, go out and get it. Hopefully you get it one day. It's going to be very difficult, right? So how do we, as the world's best international matchmakers, deal with these large age gap? So we explain to our client, we say, all we can do is do a good profile for you, good photos, and put you out into the market. And the market is women, right? And we will put you out into whatever it is that you want, and we will see what the feedback is. And the market will speak. It will determine what your value is there. If we put you out there and we ask 10 or 20 ladies, would you want to meet this man? And if they all say no, well, then the market has spoken, and there's no demand in that particular market. So then we can stretch it out to 5 years later, 10 years later, so on and so forth. And we make it very clear to our client when he signs up that we are willing to do that, but we're not going to spend 3 or 4 months trying to get you a 25-year age gap if you don't listen to what the market says. And most clients are pretty good with this, because it's the reality, right? It's the absolute reality. We're not saying yes or no. We're letting the market speak for itself. And sometimes we've been surprised, right? So sometimes we've been surprised. But when it comes to, say, a large age gap, one thing to always remember is that it's all good and well now, but like I said before about the offset of value, this is what I call a covert contract. So if you are in a relationship and maybe you're taking care of this woman with a large age gap and you're providing a lifestyle that she needs, if you do not fulfill that covert contract, which is you'll take care of her, you'll give her what she needs, and she's taking care of you, possibly through looking good and sex, and she looks good on your arm and all that sort of stuff. If the contract is not fulfilled at some time, she can leave, and it's much easier for her to leave. Women can leave at any time anyway, but when there's a contract that has so many conditions that are binding your relationship with her, and that is the value offset, it can be, for example, if you had money when you met and then for some reason you didn't have money because your business had problems or whatever, there's a higher chance with this large age gap that she's going to say, this is not what I signed up for, right? The same as if she became like very, very overweight and shaved her head. You would say, this is not part of the covert contract that we never actually spoke about. So anyway, I just wanted to say that throw that out there anyway when it comes to how the world's best international matchmakers deal with large age gaps. Hopefully that helps.
See you.
See ya.